I am so glad you are here. It is Wednesday in my world, so it is time for a chat on It Is Alive. It's just me today, so we're going to have some fun. And I want to start by giving a big thank you to everyone who came and participated in the resistance ritual last Sunday. It was a blast. We wound up needing to go to a nearby park, so I'm so glad the weather was warm. And I'm grabbing my phone because the nicest person who attended, one of the nice people who attended, the name is Grace Morgan on Facebook, and Grace got some footage of a protest parade that went past the front of the store and then went down and came along the backside of our block as well and wound up at the same park that we went to. We all got there at about the same time. It was fantastic. So we met here at noon so people would have time to chat, get their things ready. We asked people to bring some kind of talisman, amulet token, something they wanted to charge. A lot of people bought whistles or lanyards, which was fantastic because then they could give them to other people who maybe couldn't attend the ritual or wanted to trade right then and there. It was amazing. It was so much fun. Super simple, really effective ritual. It was just wonderful, the crowd that came to do it. We had more than 24 people, less than 3 dozen. And so we were kind of like packed in the store. And as that we were getting ready in that first hour and people were getting their pieces into the cauldron, we had them put their amulet into a plastic bag with a large piece of tagboard, like thicker than regular paper, but not cardboard, that they could write a design on or their name on or however they wanted to do it. I used a sigil that another group that I participate in developed for this purpose, for this kind of working. It's a sigil that we wrote on a little stone, it was actually a worry stone, because if you turn a worry stone like the other way around, it looks like a shield, and we liked that. And the stone was made of green aventurine, and we liked that as well for several reasons. But we stuck our individual pieces in our little plastic Ziploc bags with our little tags. It lets you do one more thing, one more little piece of magic. You could write a magical rune or a magical intention on that card, but it also essentially gave you a luggage tag for your piece that you charged, or pieces in some cases. And that worked beautifully. People were able to see when theirs came up, when we were pulling them out of the cauldron right after the ritual, and get what they needed quickly. Excuse me. Oh yeah, what am I drinking today? I have not had time to make tea. I'll get to that in a minute. But so this is just hot cocoa, which we have had here since the protests began, specifically for the people who keep watch on our block and the protesters themselves. So they have a warm space to come and grab a hot chocolate while they're protesting. And it'll last until the box runs out. But it was a fantastic ritual. Really wonderful. If you missed it, I am so sorry that you had to miss it. There are a number of people who communicated that they were planning on coming or had even signed up for it, and yet got called into work, or some kind of emergency came up, and that happens, and that is okay. Trust me, there were loads of people there sending lots of energy. It was a really good time and a really effective ritual. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And we'll see. Maybe going forward, we'll do another ritual. It's going to depend on how the federal government chooses to keep their word. It's up to other folks, really. Do we need to act again or not in that particular way? But I did one of my drinking. I will be making tea later. And since my eczema is more or less cured, I've been keeping up with a little burdock anyway in my teas, and probably do some Cotonopsis because that came in yesterday. Whew. So happy about that. But here's what I'm wearing today. I opted to go for like the costumey jewelry. So this is some of the fun stuff we have. I even double stacked these because they're $3.95 each. I mean, why wouldn't you just double stack them if you can and you like them? This little 3 metal jobby. Yeah, now you can kind of see that there's 3 metals in there. It's $2.95. Some of these are $5.95. I don't know what the turquoise one is. That's probably more. Yeah, this one's $17.95 for this. But the rest of these are, each and every one is under 10. Some of them are under 5. They're just fun, and they're out on our counter. So you can check them out and find the ones that suit you best. There's a bunch of these wooden rings. There's a few of these costume rings left. Most of them look like this. This one is the only one I have left in orange. So if you want to get a little mercurial, it's here for you, or sunshiny. It's up to you. They're here for you. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. Hot cocoa is what I'm drinking today, right? So let's get to what's going to be happening next. Post-resistance ritual, right? Got my little list. So this Saturday, the whole afternoon is Journey into Magical Practice. That is a fantastic group. They have been meeting online for their discussions, and they're coming here for their ritual gathering. So if you want to meet these folks, check them out. You might want to come down and just see what it's like. Feel out those people. Maybe have a short conversation at the beginning or later on in the day while they're still here. But they have the classroom the whole 6 hours. They're going to be busy, busy people. The rituals are always amazing. I recommend them, if only for the fact that they tend to bring a ton of stuff with them to do the rituals, to dress the room, to really dedicate each quarter with statuary, altar cloths. It's amazing the setup they do. It's delightful to have them back again. So very excited that they're coming. Sunday, if you're interested in British traditional Wicca, there will be that group meeting here at 10, strictly 10 to 11, because I have to do this at 11:15, and I need to break the room down and set the lighting up in that 11 to 11:15 spot. But it's been really fun having those conversations with those folks. I know this time we're going to work on, we're going to look at somebody's views evaluation survey. That's always a fun conversation to have. And if he's watching, he knows who he is. We're going to do the Reiki share at 12. So if you're a Reiki first, second, third, and you want to just share, trade Reiki services, talk Reiki, talk about cases you've had that you've loved, cases you've had that you have not loved or not been confident about, we can share notes and help each other out. It's a great experience to do the Reiki share. At 4 o'clock on this coming Sunday is Palmistry 101. That's being taught by Eshu. I have pinch hit for him a couple times, and the last time was just a blast. I just give a really rapid fire 101 intro to palmistry. We did the lines, we did the mounts, we did the shapes. We just kind of went through the basics. Eshu is going to dive deep into those things, and it'll be a fantastic class, I promise. He's a really good palm reader. He's a very good reader generally. He does tarot and palmistry here, but if you are at all interested in palmistry, that is a by donation class. So come, if you can pay $1, you can pay $1. If you can pay 50, you can pay 50. It really depends on who you are, how you're doing, and what you think of the class when all is said and done. And there are absolutely people who come who really can't afford anything. And there are people who come who they cognate that that's going on, and they pay for 2 people's spots because it's by donation. So thanks to all of those people, the people who can only just barely come, and the people who are here who are like, you know what, I'll pitch in a little extra because I see what's going on. You're an amazing community, and I love how we support each other and come together. Probably because, resistance ritual is so cool. Before I go on, I mentioned the parade of other people protesting that went by our doors as we were setting up for the ritual before we walked to the park for the resistance ritual. If you want to see footage of it, go to that person I mentioned, that Morgan person I mentioned. Am I getting that right? Let me just check. Oh, it went away. You will find it. Sophia, Morgan, something like that. But if you look up Magus Resistance on Facebook, that's how I found footage. It's great footage of that parade. It was so much fun to see it happening outside the door. I just stood there for a few minutes and then, wait, I should tell everybody, ran back to the classroom and said, hey, there's a protest parade right now. Come on out. A whole bunch of us came out to cheer on the parade. So much fun. So what else is coming up? Okay, so not this weekend, but the following weekend, Saturday the 28th, Alliance Coven will be here for their next meetup, their next class. Now, the Journey into Magical Practice and the Alliance Coven and the British Traditional Wicca, those are all completely free. There's no passing of the hat. There's no request for donation. They're just service. That's all they are. So you're welcome to check them all out. They're fabulous. At 3, another by donation class, Magical Astrology. That's with Adam. Really experienced deep thinker about astrology. He's connected lots of different interpretations and styles and patterns of astrology to come up with his very own. And this series on magical astrology has been by far the best received. It gets rave reviews, really outstanding reviews, because he's really honed in, I think, on that intersection of you want to do magic, but you want to think about astrology as part of the process. He's there with you. And he really gets into the nitty-gritty of it beautifully. The following Saturday, this will be the first Saturday of March. It's March 4th. Alliance Coven meets again at noon. They go from noon to 2. Again, that's a completely free, that's like a service event for us. And at 3 on March 4th is Eshu's class on American Hoodoo and Folk Magic, and that's another by donation class. Again, he's a great instructor on these things. He's from New Orleans himself, and has this wonderful background where he has family magic that he's incorporated into what he does, as well as an understanding of American Hoodoo practices, both from living in that and from just doing the research and the other work and getting other people's perspectives on it. It's a very informative class and really hands-on. It really gets you into doing that style of magic quickly, which I appreciate. Because I don't think being an armchair practitioner really works well. I think you have to get in and do the thing, do the ritual, do the spell, do the rite. You got to get into it. But I'll talk more about that later. On Sunday, the 5th of March, again, that British traditional Gardnerian class from 10 to 11. Now, we are closed at that hour, so do register for it so we know you're coming. Go to our online events page, which if you can see a QR code in that corner of your screen, that QR code will take you right to our page, the events page in particular, so you can find what you're looking for easily and quickly, and just go ahead and click on the register. Always good. And at noon, there will be Gateway to the Gods. That is a class where we explore. Now, that is a class with a fee attached to it because it requires advanced preparation and product from the store that's got to be paid for and all of that magical stuff. So I think it's a $30 or $35. I don't remember. It's in the events. Go to magusbooks.com events and you'll see what the price is. But I brew up one of our adult only herbs. You do have to be 18 or older to take the class. And you have the option then of sampling what I would call a beginner level amount of that herb. After we talk about some of the safety, and then while you are drinking that, we're talking about the folklore, some of the practices, some of how to use it, how to prepare it, all of those basic details, some of the chemistry. And we take a little break. And then because it is a beginner dose, it's not a heavy hitting dose at all, we go on a little guided meditation to help you expand into the experience and see how far you can push that mild dose, because everybody is different. Some of us respond better to one herb or another herb, and you got to kind of feel that out with these bad boys. So I do a little guided meditation, and it has been really fun to do those guided meditations. We'll talk about them afterwards. But when somebody says, I can never meditate, and then they come out of the experience going, I actually meditated. Oh my God. You know the herb worked for them, and they batted it out of the park. What can you say? And it's just fun when those things happen. It's also wonderful just to hear experienced meditators talk about how it deepened their experience, how it improved what they're going through. It's wonderful to do that class. But that's what we've got coming up in the next few weeks. Now, I've been asked many times where to park here. If you're coming to shop here, there is free on-street parking right in front of us. But if that's full, because this whole block is just shops. Some of them, like our building, have apartments above the shops, but it's all shops, both sides of the street, wall to wall, So if you can't find parking on our street, my best suggestion for you is that you go to the parking lot of St. Clement's Catholic Church, which is less than a block south of us. It is on Lowry Avenue, 1/2 block west of Central Avenue, which is where we are. We're at 2520 Central Avenue, northeast here in Minneapolis. So this parking lot is completely free right now. It won't be forever because the businesses have gotten together with a way of helping the church to maintain the parking lot. So we're looking at installing that this spring, and there'll be then a small fee for the parking. We'll see how it works. It'll be a QR code style parking, but that is definitely the best place to park in the neighborhood, especially if there's no on-street parking right outside our door. You've got the bike shop, you've got Bloom and MN, you've got Proof, you've got did I get that one right? There's a tattoo place that just opened up down the block. There's restaurants, there's the co-op, there's Holy Land, and they have parking on their side of the block because those are the only two businesses across the street from us. But all of us guys on the west side of Central Avenue, no parking available except the street. So St. Clement's Catholic Church, you'll have to walk less than a block from it probably, because you're going to park very far away from the church itself. So you're as close to us as you can be. And if there's anyone there going to the church, they're going to park way over on the other side of the lot. So they're near the church. So we honestly don't interfere with each other all that much, which is fabulous. So that's where I recommend for parking. I'm just going to keep hyping that so everybody knows, because I do keep getting asked. And then seeking that divine guidance, looking for a reading of some kind, we've got you covered on that too. So if you have had some weird and wacky dreams and you just want help interpreting them, and you've looked in the books and you've thought about what you think of the symbols that were in your dreams and you're just not sure, come see Morpheus on, is it Tuesdays? No, it's Mondays from 2 to 6. 2 to 6 p.m. Morpheus will help you interpret that dream. He's very good at it. It's not the most called upon form of divination here, but it's definitely worth it. He's good. On Sundays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, you got a pretty good chance of getting a reading from Eshu. He does palmistry and tarot here. Sundays, all day, noon to 6, the whole time we're open. Eshu is usually here. Wednesdays, he's here again the whole day, noon to 6. Thursdays, he shares the day, so he's only here noon to 3 because he's sharing it with Ravenwolf, another very popular tarot reader here who reads from 3 to 6 on Thursdays. And on Saturdays, Eshu is here again for the first half of the day from noon to 3 because he shares it with Margaret. And if you want to get a reading from Margaret, she is only here 3 to 6 on Saturdays. So you want to kind of come in and grab that reading from her. She is very good. Of course, all the readers here have passed an audition to make sure they can politely communicate with people who are not their friends, that they have some skill in the system they're using. They're not reliant on a booklet or anything, and that they're actually good reading, that they have talent at doing these kinds of readings. And they're very good. Who else have we got? We've got Daryl. Now, Probably Daryl, his full name, Probably Daryl, fantastic oracle deck reader, reads his very own deck that he designed himself. This is a large deck. It's the shape of the cards are really interesting and really add to how he lays them out for the readings. And because it's his very own deck, he knows it better than anybody else ever will, really. I think he's doing a fundraiser. I don't remember. I don't think it's a GoFundMe. I think it's something else, but he's doing a little work on raising the funds to publish the deck for a wider audience. He had 2 printed for himself, but only those 2. But he will give you a tour of the deck for completely free. So if you're interested in fascinating oracle decks, just come and chat with him for 5 minutes and get the deck tour, if nothing else. Now, if that inspires you to get a reading, or you're already looking for a reading, that's great. Then he's very happy to do that. He did a couple beautiful readings yesterday. It was fabulous. But he is here, I said yesterday, so Tuesdays, right? 3 to 6, so the second half of our day. Fridays from 4 to 6. Interesting. I'm seeing some typos. And he's here on Mondays from 12 to 2 because Morpheus, the dream interpretation guy, is here from 2 to 6. Ravenwolf, I mentioned that he splits Thursdays with Eshu, and he's here on the second half of Thursdays. He's also here from 1 to 4 on Fridays, and on Tuesdays from noon to 3 because he splits the day with Daryl. Those are our current readers. They're amazing. I recommend all of them. They've all agreed to a $2.50 a minute rate for themselves. So you can set a time limit based on your budget. And we even have posters hanging up in that area. So you can see not just what the reading will cost you, but you can see what it will cost when the tax is added on as well. And of course, when you're paying for the reading up at the register, we'll ask if you want to leave a tip for your reader, but it's never obligatory. It's entirely up to you, how you feel about the reader, what your budget is, and any other factors that we don't know, only you know. So come and grab a reading if you want. If you're looking to book a reader for an event, many of our readers are happy to do that kind of work as well. In addition to some of the regular staff who are no longer readers here and only pinch hit. I will pinch hit. Liz will pinch hit. Yes, I'm Liz. There's another Liz. The other Liz will pinch hit. I believe Adam has pinch hit. And we've all auditioned. I auditioned for someone else who used to work here, who held a position similar to my own, and the others have auditioned with me. So that's the readers. That's what's coming up there. Let me show you some of the interesting used books I found downstairs to bring up to show off. Again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, more than a dozen bookcases downstairs of used books that are up online for sale. And I lied, there's 2 bookcases with at least 3 bookcases worth of books crammed into them that will eventually filter up here. I'm trying to get bookcases moved into the space so I can pull 3 bookcases worth up here. But in the meantime, I'm pulling stuff from our online auctions, and you can see our online selections by looking us up as a vendor on Amazon, where there's a few books. But if you want the bulk of the selection, you're gonna want to go to abe.com. abe.com used to stand for American Book Exchange. It was sold. It's got new owners. There's a whole lot of backstory there. But abe.com is the place to go. So here's some books that are up there on those sites now, and that I'm going to have upstairs here, at least for this week, in our rare bookcase. So our books, by the way, are worth anywhere from $20 if they're going up online to $6,000, depends on the book. And how we price those books when they go up online is we look at the quality of the book we have, and we compare it to, particularly on the site we're likely to list it on, to other books of the same quality, and then we underbid those people. I think that's probably what everybody does when they first list their books. This one, oh yes, this is The Sabian Symbols and Astrological Analysis by Bovie. Well-known little book on the Sabian symbols. What are the Sabian symbols? I'll tell you a little bit about what it says back here. It's 360 images that correspond to the 360 degrees of the zodiacal wheel. They were created in 1925 by a couple of people, a lovely couple, Mark Edmund Jones and Elsie Wheeler. And people have gone back to them again and again since then to reinterpret them, to reconfigure them, to play with them, just to use them to expand everyone's knowledge of astrology, people's knowledge of prediction, all kinds of wonderful things about them. So they're a great little tool. And this is Bovie's look at the original symbols, not anything reworked, the original symbols fully revealed. It's under $350 if you want it. I do have some cheap ones up here and some spendy ones up here, I will admit. This one in excellent shape. Look how cool and like 1970s that cover is, and yet it looks like it could be brand new. It's got that yellow print on this, you know, how they would color the edges of the pages yellow and everything. So this is Magics and Ceremonies by Janine. And it's similarly priced to the last one. It's at $300. But this is an amazingly good, well-conditioned book. Pages are definitely a little yellowed with age, but fabulous choice. Let's do, and then if you're looking for something maybe a little spookier, and you're a fan of the British author Nigel Jackson, The Complete Vampire. It's here. This is from Capelban, which was a great publishing house in the UK for quite some time. And this is another one of those books that This is as new. I mean, this feels like no one's read it. We flip the pages open. It doesn't feel like it's been read. I'm sure it was, but by someone who read it very, very carefully, if at all. Similar price. It's coming in at less than $350, but pretty close to $350. And I've got a piece I'm saving. This is an interesting one. By Standing Stone and Elder Tree. It's by William G. Gray. It's another UK author. And I got to show you the picture of him on the back, just for fun. This is a book definitely crosses a lot of religious lines. It comes definitely from an era when you might go to church every week and participate and volunteer, maybe you get the flowers for the church, you gather the flower, but you do things for that church and you still have a magical practice as well. And in particular, this is about the roll-right ritual, which if you haven't seen the roll-right ritual, I find it highly repetitive, but an interesting ritual. The repetition can be seen as a meditative building of power as you go through the ritual. At least that's my read of it. But this is a book that gets more into this. And if you've never heard of the roll-right ritual, by all means, Google it up. But this one will get into how he interprets the ritual, which I think is actually pretty fascinating. Other little books I've got here. Where's my cheat sheet? Oh, Magic, Its Ritual and its Ritual, Power, and Purpose. So this is by Butler, W.E. Butler. It's a fun little book, again, in really good shape. So it's coming in at a mere $40. Not bad, all things told, but a little tome on why ritual is important, how it affects us. And I'm going to point out that ritual can be elaborate or simple. A simple ritual of what? This is an easy one for me. I wash my hands when I'm done with work. I do this every day I'm done with work. I either do it before I leave this building or I do it as soon as I get home. But I wash my hands. And it's a way of resetting my brain so that I am ready to pay attention to my family and engage there and not think as much about here. This is a ritual I have done for many, many years. Not a complicated ritual. In fact, a very practical and healthy ritual, but a ritual nonetheless. And it has immense power through that repetition of letting me let go of work and be that much more interested in the people in my house. And I think that matters. I think that leads for a work-life balance that I find very healthy. So this is a book on that type of thinking and that subject. I get asked about this book occasionally. We don't have a new copy in the shop right now, but I do have a used version of this one, and it's only $30 for a hardcover of Kalevala. So fascinating little set of folklore. Definitely worth a read. If you know, you know. What else have I got over here? Oh, Integral Humanism. Interested more in the philosophical side? We've got you covered. Integral Humanism. This one is by a very hard to read name. I'm going to say Mardane. That's going to be my best guess. So it's another $20 book. So even if you're just interested, it's not a bad price for a decent hardcover. You can see the spine. It's probably had a little exposure to sunlight. But other than that, it's in awfully good shape. So there you go, an affordable one. And then before I get to the decks I'm bringing up this time, Inner Traditions of Magic, again by William G. Gray. I mentioned him earlier with the roll-right stuff. So this one, a little more spendy, a little more in-depth, $400. But a fantastic and fascinating read, I've got to say. Two more things to show you. The Dolly Tarot in this gorgeous case. So full tarot deck is in here if you're a fan. And it comes with, oh, come on out. Here we go. A full-size book. Yes, there's a lot of gold. And the deck in its original box. Still in good shape. Everything about it is still in good shape. It's $40 for this deck. Worth every penny. I can remember getting a Dolly deck as a gift for my life partner, and it was the Primary Tarot deck. Loved that deck. And for those of you who don't know, he passed away a couple of years ago in his 50s. And then I have, on the other end of the financial spectrum, a deck that does not like to stay in its box, but it's complete nonetheless. You can see it sticking out there. The Secret Dakini Oracle deck, based upon the mystical teachings of the Tantric tradition. This is a more rare deck, so it's going for a few hundred. Okay, $550. It's the most expensive thing I brought up to show you guys. But it is a delightful deck, and it's in excellent shape, despite the fact that it doesn't want to sit in its little box. So that's some of the stuff that'll be up, at least for this week. I'm filling in space because you might remember I've talked about the complete set of Man, Myth, and Magic that we've had as a used offering here. That is gone. I took that to the post office today and shipped it out today, sold on ABE. I don't know if we'll ever see another full set again, but there's going to be somebody very happy in Illinois. So suddenly there's a whole empty shelf in that case for me to fill up. So I've not taken down the books that I talked about last week. And I'll be adding these to it and maybe a few more just that are from our basement collection that is up available almost always on ABE, but occasionally on Amazon. So that's what I've got going for you guys today. For fun stuff. Man, that was a lot of stuff today. This is cool. And I did not particularly plan a special topic for everybody, but I was thinking a little earlier about things like that ritual of resistance that we did here at the shop last Sunday that was so much fun and seemed so powerful for so many that I wanted to do a little survey and ask you guys, just drop something in the comments and let me know if more ritual would be more better. Should we maybe plan on the occasional Sabbat ritual? I think if we did, we would have to restrict the number of signups just due to the fact that this classroom is not quite as big as our old classroom in our last location. Still a nice classroom, so it's only the second really nice classroom we've had. It fits more than a conference room table, which is all the first classroom fit, really. There's still a good amount of room in here, but I think 20 might be our limit. So let me know if you're interested. There will probably also be some rituals coming up in the next few months as well on Friday evenings after we close once in a while. So those are also in the offing. But the more the merrier for me. And as always, if it's a completely free event, like the British Traditional Wicca, the Alliance Coven, and the Journey into Magical Practice are, we don't charge for the space either. We view all of it as a service to the community, including the rent revenue we would usually get by sharing what you pay for a class with the instructor. So yeah, let me know. Drop a line in the comments if you think it would be fun to have more excuses to get together. The other one I've been considering is a game night. We have a game that someone actually, it's my tripod. It's sitting under my computer right now. And it is one of those little pagan-esque sort of board games. And I've got one I found at a Goodwill a few years ago called, and I think it has to be said this way, so brace yourself, Go Goddess! It's a little sickly sweet, I gotta be honest, but that kind of is what makes it funny. So thinking about maybe doing a little game night here, possibly on another Friday night or some other, Sunday evening, something like that. So let me know if you're interested in community events. If it was a game night, it would be probably a by donation. We just ask folks to make a donation to help keep the lights on. And if it's a ritual, it's probably entirely free and there won't be any request for donation at all. So, and I don't have time to get into any topics because I have 5 minutes. So rather than launch into something that I really can't finish, I'm going to close up by saying thank you so much for tuning in, watching on the replay, watching on the live, being your amazing, magical you. We love that about you here. And the staff and myself, we all appreciate you so much and look forward to seeing you stop in here at the shop in Minneapolis or online at negusbooks.com. And of course, for doing the little magical things you can do here in social media land. I know you know what they are. And with that, tomorrow will be Irby Thursday for 5 minutes at 11:15. And then because I don't work 7 days a week, the 2 pre-recorded ones, Stoned on Friday and Divination Saturday. Divination Saturday, what did we do? I don't remember. I don't recall. I did it on Monday. So we'll all have to tune in and see. And of course, we'll have shorts from all of those for as much as I can make shorts here. And for Stoned on Friday, I don't really remember the stone I did there. Oh, I do. We did Zebra Jasper. The shorts are already out for that. I saw them pop up on my YouTube feed today. So if you want to see the whole 5 minutes, tune in on Friday at 11:15, and then eventually I will repost the whole thing. Sometime next week, it'll come up as a whole video as well. So for now, have a fantastic week and blessed be.